Kaido was wrong about Double Fruit Awakenings.
Hold up.
Or at least his explanation was exactly what you expect from a man who finds comfort in trying to off himself by cloud hopping. He told us awakenings happen when your mind and body catch up to your powers. It sounds deep, but it doesn't explain why a Zoan can become a god, a Paramecia can turn the world into mochi, and Logia's, well, we just haven't seen them yet, officially. But once you look at the hidden pattern behind these types, the entire power scale shifts. It explains why Luffy can turn into Sun God Nico, while some other assholes' peak potential is most likely turning into a double XL trench coat meant for two people to stand on each other's shoulders. Here's the truth about awakenings. For years, we've treated Kaido's words like the ultimate rulebook. The idea is simple. Awakening is just the finish line of a long-distance race between a user and their ability. If you train hard enough and your mind and body finally sync up with the fruit, you win. It frames awakening as a personal achievement, a gold star for effort. But this mastery theory has a massive blind spot. If awakening was just about the user reaching a certain level, every awakening should fundamentally work the same, but technically they don't. Zoans get a huge buff in physical power and recovery, while Paramecias rewrite the physics of the floor they're standing on. Kaido explained the trigger, reaching that peak state, but he never explained why the mechanics are so inconsistent. Now you might say, duh, they're different because there's 3 categories of devil fruits, but it doesn't explain the fundamental logic. Why does one stay inside the body while the other leaks into the world? Here's the thing, if it wasn't all about the user, every awakening would basically look the same, but they don't. That tells me the secret isn't in the person, it's actually in the fruit's DNA. See, we've always treated those 3 categories as simple labels, but they're actually more like a set of house rules. They're the specific instructions that decide what a power is allowed to do once it finally hits its peak. So if awakenings behave differently depending on the type of devil fruit, then the real answer might not be about the user at all. It might be about the devil fruits themselves. And from the very beginning, devil fruits have always been divided into 3 types: Zoan, Paramecia, and Logia. Each one represents a completely different kind of ability. Zoan fruits are based on animals, Paramecia fruits deal with strange abilities and other weird shit, and Logia fruits deal with the natural elements like fire, ice, and unfortunately, this. But the difference between those fruits goes even deeper. Each type also changes the way users interact with their power. Zoan fruits transform the user into a creature. Paramecia fruits cover basically everything that isn't a Zoan or Logia, giving users powers that can change their body, affect the world around them, or create substances. And Logia fruits turn the user into the element itself. So right from the start, each type of devil fruit already works in a completely different way. And that difference becomes even more important when we talk about awakenings, because when a devil fruit awakens, it doesn't become a completely new ability. The fruit just pushes its core power even further. In other words, awakening is not a random power-up. It's the devil fruit expanding the kind of power it already represents. So when you put everything we've just talked about together, you start to see what Kaido was actually getting at. When he says awakening happens where your mind and body catch up to your powers, he's not completely wrong. Mastery still matters, but that's only part of the story, because awakening isn't just about the user mastering their ability, it's also about the user lining up with the true nature of the devil fruit itself. So once you start looking at awakenings this way, the different fruit types start to make a lot more sense. Zoan fruits are based on animals and creatures, so their awakenings come down to instinct. The user has to line up with their nature of that creature. Paramecia fruits are different. They're built around ideas and concepts, which means the user's worldview shapes how that power develops. The way they think about their ability changes what that ability can become. And Logia fruits represent natural elements. So even though we've yet to see what Logia awakenings are yet, awakening for Logias likely depends on the user reaching a state of being that matches the nature of that element. When you look at characters in the story, you can actually see hints of this already. Take Rob Lucci for example. His cat fruit model leopard is built around the instincts of a predator, and the way he fights reflects that perfectly. He moves like a hunter, overwhelming his opponents with speed, aggression, and killing intent. Paramecia users show this even more clearly. Their abilities revolve around concepts, which means their mindset shapes how those powers evolve. Doflamingo's entire worldview is about control and manipulation, and his awakening literally turns the world around him into strings that he can control like a puppet master. Katakuri is a good example too. Mochi is soft and flexible, and Katakuri fights the same way, constantly reshaping his body and adapting to whatever his opponents throw at him. And when it comes to Logia users, we haven't actually seen Awakening yet from that group. But if this idea holds true, someone like Sabo makes a lot of sense for a candidate. His fruit represents fire, and right now, the world literally sees him as the Flame Emperor, the spark behind revolution spreading across the seas. Honestly, we could go on and on about figuring out the rest of the Logia Awakenings. That sounds pretty fun. If a series covering that is something you guys be interested in, let me know by hitting like, subscribe, the notification bell, and that hype button, because it really helps us grow as a small channel over here. And if Logia Awakenings really work this way, then the story may have already shown us hints of it already. Take Akainu and Aokiji, for example. After their 10-day battle on Punk Hazard, the island itself was permanently changed. One half became a frozen wasteland, while the other half turned into a volcano landscape. That kind of damage goes way beyond normal Logia attacks from what we've seen. It looks more like their elements were completely dominating the environment around them. If Akainu's fruit is awakened, it would mean that he isn't just throwing magma anymore. The battlefield itself starts behaving like a volcano. He'd be bringing the Flora's lava game to real life. Aokiji would be the opposite. Instead of just freezing things he touches, the environment itself begins behaving like the North and South Pole. Think of it like suddenly being spawned into that time-traveling walk-in freezer from SpongeBob. And there might be another character who already shows hints of this too. Crocodile. His sand fruit doesn't just allow him to turn into sand and create sand. It also lets him absorb moisture from anything he touches. He can dehydrate objects, people, and even the ground itself, drying out huge areas of land like a drought. That's interesting because drought, it's a natural process tied to deserts. So if Logia Awakenings really work by embodying the behavior of an element, Crocodile's ability to dry out the land around him could already be showing what an awakened sand user might look like. But notice how this is different from Paramecia Awakenings. When a Paramecia awakens, the environment literally becomes the user's ability. Doflamingo turns buildings into strings, and Katakuri turns the ground into mochi. A Logia Awakening would work differently. It wouldn't turn the ground into an element. Instead, the environment starts behaving according to the natural rules of that element, which means Awakening isn't just about power, it's about the user finally aligning with the true nature of their Devil Fruit. And if that's really how Awakenings work, then it raises a huge question about Kaido, and whether he ever actually awakened his Devil Fruit at all. And that idea actually connects to another strange pattern with Devil Fruits, especially when you look at the 3 Devil Fruits that act just like Imu's abilities, which I break down right here.